Hello, everybody. This is Darren Redmond again for the first time, and my big head is in front of my wording there. There it is. How are you now? Anyway, I am so excited about our guest today, my guest, because I have wanted to really dive into something I am a big believer in, and that is hypnosis. And I want to talk to an expert in the field. I want to talk to somebody who can really explain it to the novice like myself, how it works and how it can benefit all of you out there. I've seen it work countless number of times with my work in addiction and with smoking and anxiety and on and on and on. And Sydney Brainerd is my guest today. And Sydney, how are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing great. Thank you so much.
And for those of you, we'll talk more about this as well later. But if you look for Sydney on social media, it's under Hypno Wellness. And let's start there. First of all, for those who don't know, tell everybody about yourself, Sydney, and um, let's just take it from there.
Okay, I was a dental hygienist for over 25 years. And when my mother got sick with Alzheimer's, we decided to move her in. And so I kind of quit my job and to take care of her. And then when she got so bad that we couldn't take care of her here anymore, I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do with the rest of my life because I knew I didn't want to go back to hygiene anymore. And I had been fascinated with hypnosis for, oh my gosh, probably since I was in high school that I had read books about it, and then just all through my life I've always loved hypnosis. I've just been fascinated by it. And so I had taken a course a long time ago, and I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to get into hypnosis. So I took another course and just read and read and read. And I live in the South. So the South is kind of hard to try to get people to participate in hypnosis. I know that's kind
Mm-hmm.
of strange, but they don't really I guess they're kind of scared of it down here. So I was
Mm-hmm.
like, well, what could I do to, really do something with this? And then I came across podcasting. And I
Yep.
was like, oh my gosh, this is great. I can get my message out. I can get to people that believe in it. And that's kind of how I got started.
Well, that's wonderful. And let's unpack a little bit about that. And let's start there. There is these horrible misnomers. There's really two. There's a duality to it. One is, well, it's carnival parlor
Uh-huh.
tricks. And I mean, there is that, growing up in Brooklyn on Coney Island, there was
Uh-huh.
still the bastion of, hey, here's what's going on, and cluck like a chicken.
Yeah,
And what that is just that's just to show people there's real data behind what goes on there. And the other
there
thing
is.
is some people think it's kind of like be careful because they're going to make you into something you're not or whatever. If you could talk about both of those.
Okay. Well, first of all, when you see people do stage hypnosis, that's something
Mm-hmm.
that's completely different than like clinical hypnosis.
Mm-hmm.
The people that do the stage hypnosis, a lot of those people are already vetted, and they get people that are very susceptible to hypnosis. And those are the ones that you see clicking like a chicken. It's not the other ones that don't, because hypnosis cannot make you do something that you do not want to do. And it's
Right.
not going to stay with you forever either. So the people clucking like a chicken, they're not going to be clucking like a chicken, for the
Mm-hmm.
rest of their life if they hear a certain word. So there is a huge difference between the stage and what people do in clinical hypnosis.
And so I want to kind of delve a little bit into that because I've seen it work wonderfully with things from stopping smoking to appetite abatement to
Mm-hmm.
addiction and with anxiety. So how does it work to the person who is not too analytical? How would you explain to them to pacify those fears? Because again, I'm such a big proponent of it. I've seen it work. So just please let our
Okay.
listeners and viewers
Um,
know.
let's just take one person like I want to quit smoking. Well,
Hmm.
first of all, that person is in a state of mind where I want to quit smoking, but I don't know how. I don't know how to take the edge off of it. I don't know how I'm going to do this thing. And so hypnosis helps with the subconscious mind. So you are in a state of I want to do it, but there's something causing you to not be able to do it, and that's where hypnosis comes in. It helps to change that. It helps to reframe that the subconscious mind, if that makes any sense.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And so, like, so how does it take root? Is it just suggestive sort of triggers, or how does
Right.
one
It's
go from, okay, let me try this to it actually working?
right. Now, you couldn't take somebody that was absolutely dead set against something. Like if they
Hmm.
didn't want to do it, if they didn't want to quit smoking, then they're not going to quit smoking. But the person, it almost like it reinforces your behavior. Like
Hmm.
if you don't want to quit smoking, that it's not going to magically change you because it's not magic. It's just
Hmm.
helping your subconscious mind to reframe your thoughts to get you where you need to go.
So it sounds to me like I've been a Division I softball coach. I've been a college football player, college coach with football as well. And you have a lot of these people who do talk therapy,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't call it hypnosis. It's not hypnosis, but there's a lot of building on positives, and I see a lot of similarities between the two.
Right. And I think there is something called NLP, and
Yep.
that's like hypnotic suggestion with just talking.
Hmm.
And a lot of people that are motivators that do speeches and stuff, they use a lot of that language. So it is very hypnotic the way they
Yes.
talk.
Well, yeah.
Um, it,
Go
and
ahead.
and there's that kind of fine line between that and brainwashing.
Right.
So it you know, you have the NLP, you have the motivation, and some people I think could probably take it a little bit further if they wanted
Hmm.
to, but usually you're not going to change your mind. Like it's not going to make you do something that you don't want to. So if you want to be a fantastic, wonderful hitter, it's going to
Hmm.
help you. But
Right.
I hope I'm making sense.
No, you're making a lot of sense to me. And of course, it brings up something else. And that is, I also know somebody who is a big believer in tapping. How is that same and or different than NLP and hypnosis?
have read a lot about tapping, and it has to do with oh, I forget what they call it. It's like certain pin, like acupuncture almost, where you
Hmm.
tap certain points of the body, and it helps to reinforce your habits. I think that's fascinating too. I haven't really delved into that, but I've
Hmm.
read a lot about it, and it looks really fascinating, and I've heard a lot of great things about it.
So now you become an expert at this, as certified and everything else. And now, what, do you hang a shingle? Do you just have the podcast? I mean, how do you let people know that you are there to help them? Walk me through that because I want to see you help as
I
many people as possible.
I have my podcast, and at the end of my podcast, I always say where you can reach me, and then you
Perfect.
can reach me through my email, and that's it.
Oh,
I tried to do a website, but I
mm.
am very, as you can tell with me not having my picture up here, I'm very not not good with technical stuff.
No, I hear you. Neither am I. Trust me. Call
But
my son constantly. Hey, son, one more thing.
I like the audio though. I really think that the audio is wonderful because it can be tailored to you
Hmm.
and you can listen to it as many times as you need to. Now, if you are dealing with something that is incredibly hard to deal with, I say things like eating disorders and stuff like
Uh-huh.
that.
Hmm.
I would suggest seeing somebody in person.
Right.
That, I mean, those things usually require therapy and hypnosis. So I'm a big advocate for therapy. I think therapy is really great for people that are dealing with things like that. And then when you've got that positive reinforcement from your therapy, you can go into hypnosis and it's going to work so well. So I think they kind of go very well together.
Now, I've never had hypnosis done to me yet. It's something that I've wanted to do. I've been in therapy many, many times. I see how they both can work wonderfully together.
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, I mean, that whole inner child trauma that people don't realize they even have.
Right.
Walk us through that. How does hypnosis help them find that?
Well, a
Or
lot
can
of
it?
people do that past regression.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not a big advocate for past regression unless you are using a therapy. Because one thing that hypnosis can do is give you false memories.
False
That's
memory.
why
Yep.
it's not used in the law enforcement
Mm-hmm.
because of the false memories. So I think with if doing past regression, I
Mm-hmm.
really honestly think you need to be working with a therapist. And that way you're getting the correct, feedback. And then whenever you get that, when you get to where you need to be, then the hypnosis is going to work well for you.
Oh, I could definitely see that because
Mm-hmm.
false memories can
Oh, yes.
literally devastate people's lives
It
if,
really can. In children also, children can get false memories really easy. There's
yep.
that's you know that's a huge thing.
So I know everybody is unique, everybody is different, but without going into a personal details of anyone, like how long does a person usually have to go through sessions and how long is an individual session?
An individual session can range from 5 to 10 minutes up to
Hmm.
hours. It just
Gotcha.
depends on what you're dealing with. Um, and I think it's also like the person that's hypnotizing you. What can
Hmm.
they get accomplished in that certain amount of time in what they're working with and everything. But it just really depends. And also the sessions, like the amount of sessions, I
Hmm.
think that depends on the person too. Some people can do like once a week. Some people can do every day. Like if you're listening to an audio, they want to listen to it every day, just helping to reinforce that behavior through their, subconscious. And I think it honestly just depends on the person.
Gotcha. So you enjoying doing this? Are you enjoying helping people in this fashion? And is it going beyond your expectations when you initially? I mean, by the way, it takes a leap of faith, right? To go from the job that you had to doing this.
Yes, it does. I I love it. I love my podcast. I love the people that I've met. I love the people that I've worked with. Oh my gosh, it's life changing. It gives me something to do. It gives me a purpose. I don't have to work with the boss anymore
Isn't that
or
terrific?
screaming children. Like you have to talk them, down off a ledge. I don't have to do that anymore.
That's great. So, what is the name of your podcast and how can people find you?
The name of my podcast is called Hypno Wellness, and
Hmm.
you can find me anywhere that there's you get your podcast from, your favorite platform, and I'm
Hmm.
also on YouTube.
Well, that's how I found you, as you know, and been a follower ever since.
Oh, thank
And
you.
so that's great. If you have one last message for people who are thinking about hypnosis and a little apprehensive, what would that be? And again, thank you so much for your time today.
Well, if you're ready to make a change and you want to have that positive reinforcement, that feel good feeling in your brain, hypnosis is it's the answer. What's the word? I just don't know how to kind of get it across to people. It's not magic,
Hmm.
um, but it can change your life.
And that's great. And you may know somebody soon who will be reaching out for your services, who looks a lot like me. Just saying.
I do the audio. I send you over an audio. And then that's something that you listen to whenever you need to have that positive reinforcement.
Oh, absolutely. And let's talk about that later because, yeah, and then I look forward to that. And I appreciate what you do, and you make it a lot less scary for people. And for those of you down south, You have a wonderful resource down there.
That's right.
Use it. Hypno Wellness, my friends. Sydney, thank you so much.
Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you for having me on, and I'm so sorry about the video. I'm going to work on that.
Oh, no. Are you kidding? Happens. It happens. It's part of life. Be well, my friend.
Oh, thank you so much.
Take care.